Yo, what is up, bro squad? Today I'm out here studying finance so I can become one of the world's greatest financiers and hopefully make it big like my boys Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. Speaking of great financiers, today I would like to cover my all-time favorite of financiers and also one of the most successful people ever to breach the market. That's right, you guessed it. We're covering my idol, Jeffrey Epstein, or Big J, as I used to call him back when we hung out on Bill Clinton's plane. Now, there was recently released a 2 hour long interview featuring Big J and some random retard asking him questions. And I would like, of course, to just take a look at this interview and get a glimpse into the mind of this man whom I fully support and would do anything to please, both now and 13 years ago.
Time we went out to eat, me and my 5 friends at school, they would leave me the bill. They would expect me to pick up the check because I was at Rockefeller. And he said, I was chairman of Chase Bank. And he said, I remember like it was yesterday, one of the headlines in Time magazine said, someone's there for 4 years and then they're not there anymore. The most important people to have stability and consistency would be businessmen. So he formed this. When I finally said, well, I can't find it. And they said, what's the matter? You want to buy a TV, which is, he was stolen televisions from the floor of the American Stock Exchange, referred to in common parlance as the television. So I knew what that phrase meant from Coney Island.
So that's just an amazing answer to that interview question. So you can see there, the interviewer asks him, what was it like meeting these famous politicians and business people? And then he goes into his story about how a guy tried to sell him a stolen TV. And I think that makes perfect sense because if you really think
in 90, and what I'm trying to do is get you all the way up to 2008. Look, you're the smartest guy in the room, right? You know that. Do you think there's anybody in the world today?
Oops, this is going to be a bad question.
No, but do you think anybody in the world today, the Alan Greenspans, the Bernankes, is there any central banker you know, any partner of any Wall Street firm, any guy running a trading desk? Do you think that there's anybody that understands money or understands the world's financial system as good as you?
There must be.
But it doesn't come to the top of the head.
No.
So there was just another brilliant question. The interview asks him, Jeffrey Epstein, is there anyone better than you at anything in the entire world? Is it even possible for someone to amass the amount of power and intellect that you have? And he says, no, not off the top of my mind. Why? Because it's not. We know this. It is not possible to beat the likes of Big J, as I call him personally, or Big D, as I call the other guy. Hey, and we know who Big D is, let's be honest. So, what am I going to do to become more like Big J? Well, first of all, I'm going to start by buying a
It seems to me that calculus is theory of change and the theory of how things change.
It's a great question. But in fact, what calculus does is it's somewhat philosophical. That's why mathematics is, they understood geometry. And there's an old where it says, where they said, well, if the wall is, that'll be 1 foot away, and if I take another step that's half again, realist, doesn't make any sense. Newton understood as many problems were like that. Many things, we can do lots of the mathematics as if it was.
So there we just have a brilliant explanation of calculus. What is calculus? Well, basically, there was this paradox called Zeno's paradox, where a guy tried to walk into a wall, but then he realized he couldn't do that. And so what was Newton? He was not a mathematician, he was a geometer. And calculus is not really math, but actually it is philosophy, because you can never really reach the limit. You can only get very close to the limit. But can you reach the limit? No, it's not possible. And that's what Newton doesn't want us to know, but that's the thing that Jeffrey Epstein, the smartest guy in the fucking world and universe, knows. He knows it because he invented it. Newton didn't invent shit. Jeffrey Epstein has a time machine, and he travels back to all the different eras of times, giving people children. Alright guys, so that was my Jeffrey Epstein review, watch along series playthrough. If you like that, make sure to like and subscribe. Next week I will be back here taking a deep dive into how Elon Musk flirts with underage women.